Heritage forms an inseparable element of our world. Every artifact that we see today was at one point a part of the routine life of our forefathers. A closer examination of these artifacts reveals that they are either tools that our ancestors utilized, dwellings they resided in, or their graves or remains. Consequently, it's only natural that all the artifacts we uncover are simplistic, rudimentary, and their interpretation is straightforward. Or, at the very least, the vast knowledge we've accumulated in our time can significantly aid us in deciphering them. Nevertheless, there exist archaeological finds that have left scientists perplexed and underscored the limitations of contemporary sciences. Welcome, I'm Ahmed Mahmoud. In this episode, we're going to talk about unique scientific odds discoveries and yet puzzling. But before we start, if you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you get our videos as soon as they're released. For a Japanese warrior, his sword is his most treasured possession. Regardless of your familiarity with Japanese culture, it's common knowledge that the samurai's swords are a key element of their heritage. These swords, in their various forms, were some of the most formidable of their era, each featuring a blade so sharp it could rip through enemy bodies. This has given rise to a multitude of legends surrounding these swords, such as being inhabited by malevolent spirits or being made by extraordinary blacksmiths. While it's common for such legends to circulate, it's utterly astounding to uncover a samurai sword that measures over 3.5 meters in length. The Odachi, or the large sword, as it translates, is among the longest and heaviest of these swords. A traditional Odachi measures around 1.5 meters, placing it among the largest swords overall. However, the Naromichi Odachi housed in the Kibitsu Shrine holds the title of the largest Japanese sword in existence. Its colossal length of 3 meters and 80 centimeters, coupled with a weight exceeding 14.5 kilograms, raises numerous questions. Who could have possibly wielded such a sword? Does its existence suggest the presence of giant humans? Could a regular human have managed to use it? And if it wasn't used, what was the purpose of crafting this sword in the first place? These questions remain unanswered to this day. There are theories suggesting the sword served as a war banner, while others propose it was crafted to showcase Japan's remarkable sword-making capabilities. However, these theories are mere conjecture, lacking any concrete evidence to support them. When the term manuscript is mentioned, one's mind instantly conjures images of ancient books penned by our forefathers, serving as vessels for the transmission of knowledge and news. Take, for instance, the manuscript of an article on gout by the renowned scientist and physician Abu Bakr al-Razi, hailed as one of the most significant medical and pharmaceutical manuscripts in existence. Or consider the Leicester manuscript, a treasure trove of Leonardo da Vinci's most crucial scientific writings. However, the manuscript we're about to delve into stands apart from the rest, shrouded in mystery, its secrets locked away due to our inability to decipher its contents. The Voynich Manuscript, named after its discoverer, is deemed one of history's most enigmatic books. If you're unfamiliar with the Voynich Manuscript, it's essentially a pictorial book, spanning roughly 240 pages, authored by an unidentified individual at an indeterminate point in time. The greatest puzzle lies in its language, an unrecognizable script composed of unique alphabetical characters, the likes of which no one in the world has been able to read or even encountered before. To add to the intrigue, the illustrations within the book, depicting various scientific fields such as astronomy, biology, engineering, and herbal medicine, are as baffling as the language itself. These drawings, largely incomprehensible and eerily alien, suggest the author envisioned a world akin to ours on the surface, yet starkly different in essence. Scholars and cryptographers have dedicated years, even entire lifetimes, attempting to unravel the enigma of this book. Yet, despite these efforts, the only certainty we've managed to glean is that the manuscript was penned in the 15th century. If you've ever had the opportunity to visit a museum in Egypt and gaze upon the mummies on display, you would undoubtedly be struck with awe and be amazed. You might find yourself pondering how the ancient Egyptians were able to preserve the bodies of their deceased in such an extraordinary manner. Among the myriad of intriguing mummies that the ancient Egyptians mummified, one particular mummy housed in the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul, the capital of Turkey, stands out as the most enigmatic and thought-provoking. The peculiarity of this mummy lies in its possession of two heads. To clarify, the mummy is composed of two entirely distinct bodies. One half is a child, and the other half is a crocodile. This bizarre mummy was unearthed in Egypt in the mid-19th century. Owing to its unusual form, the Ottoman Sultan Abdulaziz Fahri decided to transport it from Egypt to the Yildiz Palace in Turkey. The mummy was preserved in the palace's storage rooms until Sultan Abdul Hamid II decided to relocate it to the Topkapi Palace, where it remained concealed from public view and inaccessible for display for over a century. Ultimately, in 2018, the Turkish authorities decided to exhibit it to the public for the first time. Naturally, the prolonged concealment of the mummy has given rise to a multitude of questions and theories about it. Archaeologists have endeavored to unravel the enigma surrounding this mummy, but all their efforts have culminated in a theory suggesting that the child is an unidentified princess who was devoured by the crocodile. They were mummified together in this manner to allow the princess to inhabit the afterlife in the form of the god Sobek, represented as a human with a crocodile head, revered as the god of fertility and water among the ancient Egyptians. However, to this day, there is no concrete evidence to substantiate this theory. The death mask, or clay head, is an age-old tradition practiced by the majority of the original inhabitants of Europe. It involves encasing the heads of fallen warriors in a layer of clay, followed by an outer layer of plaster. This was done to preserve the faces of the warriors from decay and to ensure their existence in the afterlife, as per their beliefs. However, in 1968, specifically in Khakassia, one of the federal republics of Russia, a mask of a warrior's face was discovered that challenges our understanding of this peculiar tradition. The mask, on the surface, appears quite ordinary, much like many other death masks discovered previously. But the peculiarity of this mask isn't its exterior appearance, it's what's inside. In 1871, 3 years after its discovery, scientists decided to examine the mask using X-rays. To their surprise, they discovered a cavity inside the mask containing skull bones. But the real shock was that the cavity was extremely small, much smaller than what would be needed to accommodate a human head. The capabilities of the X-ray technology at the time were insufficient to determine the nature of the bones inside the mask. Any attempt to open the mask and break it would have resulted in its complete destruction, so scientists abandoned the idea of studying the mask in its entirety. After about 50 years, with significant advancements in X-ray technology, scientists decided to re-examine the mask. They drilled a small hole in the clay head, injected a radioactive material, and began to capture images. What they discovered inside the mask were the skull bones of a sheep. Yes, you heard right. This was also the reaction of the scientists who were observing the results of the X-rays. One wonders what a sheep's skull is doing in this ceremonial mask. Why was the original warrior's skull replaced with a sheep's skull? Or was the sheep the warrior? These are all questions that remain unanswered to this day. Funeral ceremonies are among the practices that humanity has learned since the dawn of time, and such rituals are found in all cultures. Despite the differences and lack of communication among ancient civilizations, nearly all societies share certain customs and rites involving the deceased. However, a particular discovery challenges this notion. In June 1863, a group of children playing on Arthur's Seat in Edinburgh, Scotland, stumbled upon a small cave hidden behind slabs on one of the slopes. Upon removing the slabs, the children were met with an unusual sight: numerous coffins stacked atop one another. Strangely, these coffins were all exceptionally small, with the largest measuring just 10 centimeters. The surprises didn't end there. When the coffins were opened, An even more bizarre sight was revealed. Dolls were inside the coffins. Some of these dolls were missing limbs or had incomplete limbs. Each was wrapped in a shroud specifically made for it. What was most astonishing was that all the dolls were bareheaded, with their eyes carved to appear open. But who made these coffins? What was their purpose? Were they part of a funeral ritual? To this day, archaeologists have no answers to these questions. And with that, we've talked today about archaeological scientific discoveries that are still puzzling. What would you like us to talk about in the upcoming videos? Write to us in the comments. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and share. And for those who are seeing us for the first time, subscribe and activate the bell so that you get our videos as soon as they are released. See you in the next episode. Have a good night. Bye.